in the circle here for the Longhorns, getting her second straight start.
Morgan's going to come into this ball game throwing high 60s, so some pretty good velocity with that drop ball that she'll throw to both sides of the plate. I think it's really important for her to be able to establish the inside part of the zone to the righties and to the lefties for her to be able to expand that strike zone as this game goes on.
Starts Haley Harper off with strike one. 88 degrees overcast here at first pitch in Oklahoma City. Hopeful to get this one completely in. That's all I'm going to say. I've been instructed not to say much else otherwise. The 0-1 is down low for a ball. It's 1-1 to Harper. 1 for 5 in game one to extend her hitting streak to 6 games. Really good during that streak. 10 hits in 19 at-bats. Presley Limbaugh batting second, and Lyric Moore came in off the bench in game one this morning. She's in the starting lineup, and she is an important piece of this Kansas team. Fly ball, foul ground, right field, long run, but not getting there is Maloney. She tried. She's down, she's back up.
Had to run a long way for that foul ball, but Eric, you mentioned Lyric Moore being back into the lineup for Kansas. A captain on this team was in concussion protocol in the last 2 games of their previous series, last Big 12 series of the season. Came back into that ball game, ended up getting that game-tying run across the plate. You can see her standing in the on deck, or in the hole in the dugout.
Batting third, Limbaugh batting second. Let's just take a look at Lyric, who did not play yesterday. The game was suspended with the weather moving in the 4th inning, and then the very definition of day-to-day was what we heard from Jennifer McFalls, and it was a new day, and she was able to play earlier today, now in the lineup today. Harper pops out to good, 1 away. There you see Jennifer McFalls, big win for them, obviously. You knock off Oklahoma State, one of the top teams in the country, and the way they did it. They had a 3-1 win, a 3-1 lead, rather, when the game was suspended last night. And I know momentum is kind of a fickle thing in baseball, softball, sports of that nature, but it felt like the new day was a new start for Oklahoma State. They went in front 5-3, but give Kansas all the credit. They battled back, took advantage of what was given to them by the Cowgirls, and put 4 on the board in the 7th.
Yeah, it almost looked like Oklahoma State started to play not to lose in that ball
Good
game,
point.
and Kansas had an all-out mentality, just went out there playing free, playing fun. We know, talking to Coach McFalls, that's when this team is playing their best, and they put the balls on the ground hard and forced Oklahoma State to have to make plays defensively, and they weren't able to come up with some of those ground balls cleanly. Kansas capitalizes, passes the bat along, gets some good base running along with that too, and you come out with your first win in Big 12 play since 2007.
Down low to Limbaugh, it's 2-1. Morgan getting the start yesterday, went 3, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs. They were earned, a walk and a strikeout through 62 pitches. We saw the 4 top pitchers on the Texas staff. Bunt attempt is foul. Stelchek was in. Sophia Simpson was in. And Citlali Gutierrez, the freshman, is the one who is in at the end. You see things defensively for the Longhorns here today. Familiar look for Texas. No errors in the extra inning game yesterday against Texas Tech. 52 total on the season. Two and two the count now to Limbaugh. 1 for 4 in game 1 of the tournament for Kansas with an RBI. Freshman slaps it to third. Mia Scott on the first, 2 down. Limbaugh is retired, and that will bring up Lyric Moore.
Number 3, Lyric Moore.
Junior from Mountain House, California, hit better than .340 last season. Team's leading hitter this season. Foul ball deflected off of Atwood. Plate umpire Dustin Douglas just checking on her, make sure she's okay, and seems to be.
just get the feeling that Lyric Moore is such a big piece for this Kansas team, both defensively and offensively. And talking to Coach McFalls, one of the things she loves out of her is how fairly even her spray is. 30% of the balls that she puts in play go to the right side, as we just saw a foul ball go that direction. She can pull the ball, 51% going to the left side, but she seems to have one of those swings where she's swinging where the pitcher is throwing the balls. If they throw them outside, she's going to go with it. Now, if they try to jam her up inside, she can turn on it as well. 5 home runs on the season for Lyric.
The 0-2. Misses outside. It's 1-2. Morgan, the sophomore who transferred over from Arizona State in her first season with Texas. Moore with the ground ball off the glove of the shortstop Martinez, and Moore's aboard with a 2-out single here in the first.
That's the kind of contact that Kansas needs, right back up the middle. 2-strike count here. Morgan goes to this pitch outside, and Lyric Moore drives it back up the middle, just past the glove of Viviana Martinez over at shortstop, and the first base runner of the ball game for Kansas.
Here's Olivia Bruno, top home run hitter for Kansas. Sends one foul. 2 of her 9 home runs came against Texas in one game. Kansas knocked off Texas in the regular season in game 1 of their series. Their first win over Texas in 7 years, ending a 15-game losing streak in the series. Texas came back to run rule Kansas in game number 2. Game 3 was tight, 3-2 final. Texas got the win and the series win. Bruno back up the middle. There's a base hit. Moore will put on the brakes at second. Back-to-back singles here with 2 down in the first. Second hit of the series here for Bruno.
Similar type of offense that we saw in their game against Oklahoma State. Not trying to do too much with these pitches. They're not trying to drive it way out of the yard. They're just poking it straight back up the middle. Knowing that Morgan likes to work down, you can't overswing on those pitches because that's when you're going to swing and miss. So they're going up there, seeing those drop balls, hitting them hard down into the ground, and stringing together a couple of quality at-bats.
Here's freshman Haley Kripe. Just missed for ball 1. Haley had a walk-off 2-run double in the regular season finale to knock off Iowa State. 6 runs batted in the final 5 games of the regular season. This is a ground ball to good at second on to first to retire the side. Kansas is retired. Texas coming to the plate for the first time when we come back.
Who throws with some pretty good velocity, but we know that these offenses are just too good. You have to be able to throw something else at them, and she's got a good off speed to go along with that upspin that she's going to bring in there.
20th appearance of the season for Brooks, and the sophomore's first pitch misses for ball 1. Leanne Good, the freshman, leading off for Texas, 2 for 5 with a run scored in game number 1. And Bella Dayton had a couple of hits and a home run in the first round win for Texas.
Bella Dayton seems to thrive in playing at this park in particular, too. 9 hits for her over the past 2 seasons playing here at USA Softball Hall of Fame Stadium. 2 of those 9 hits, home runs. We saw one of them yesterday.
1-1 the count to Good. That misses. It's 2-1. Good at .349 on the season. 7 homers, 38 runs batted in. Down low, 3-1. Last outing for Brooks was in relief Sunday in the regular season finale. Went 2, didn't give up a run, gave up a couple of hits. Pitcher of record in the walk-off win for Kansas. 3-1. There's a strike. It's 3-2. Inside, ball 4, and it's a leadoff walk for good. So she's aboard for the 3rd time here in this tournament.
You can see Katie Brooks just trying to establish the low part of the zone. She will mix a variety of different eye levels. She does have a pitch that she'll throw up in the zone, but primarily likes to work more down. Gets a lot of her swings and misses on the outside part of the plate to those right-handed batters.
This is for ball 1 to Mia Scott. Brooks faced Texas once this season, got the start in game 2, which was the run rule victory for the Longhorns. Brooks giving up 6 runs in that game. A couple of walks, 3 hits. One the count to Scott. Laying down the bunt. It's a beauty in front of the plate, and Scott beats it out. 1st and 2nd to get things going here for Texas.
When you have somebody like Mia Scott up at the plate coming from the left side, it's so hard for the corner infielders because you have to respect the power that she brings up at the plate, but she has so much speed, and she can drop a bunt just like this. Anything that defense can do. Perfectly placed out in front of home plate, deadens it off the end of the bat. And now 2 runners on board for the Longhorns.
So Mike White's team looking to break through here in the bottom of the 1st, 2 on, nobody out, and here is Dayton. She's looking to bunt, but she fouls it off for strike 1. The 0-1 looking to bunt again. That one is fair. Moore makes a good play to get the out at 1. Sacrifice successful. 2nd and 3rd with 1 down.
Almost looked like for a second Lyric Moore was thinking about seeing if this ball was going to go foul. Another good bunt. You can see the spin, and Lyric Moore decides to pick it up and make a sharp throw over to first base, just getting Dayton in time.
Game for Kansas. Coming in late in the game and getting the start here today. Here's Courtney Day getting the start here today for Texas. Day's first at-bat of the 2023 postseason. Her 2022 postseason was pretty memorable, especially what she did here in this building with 3 home runs. There's a strike. It's 1-1.
Courtney Day was a big part of that incredible run that Texas went on last year in the postseason, making it all the way to the championship series against the Oklahoma Sooners.
The 1-1. Line drive, base hit. Gets down and all the way to the fence. 2 runs are in. Day chugs in the 2nd with a 2-run double, and Texas is on top of the 1st.
Great swing by Courtney Day with 2 runners in scoring position. Katie Brooks goes with the drop ball outside, and Day is perfectly on time for this ball. Hits it so hard that it gets past Shayna Espy out in center field. 2 runs easily going to score on that stand-up double by Courtney Day.
I think Courtney Day loves hitting in this ballpark. The smile tells a story. 3 home runs, 8 runs batted in the Women's College World Series here last year. And now a quick conversation for Kansas. Try to slow things down here for Katie Brooks. Day now with 25 runs batted in on the season.
The catcher, number 14, Reese Atwood.
I'll bring up Reese Atwood. 1 for 4 yesterday. Ball 1. So some early activity in the Kansas bullpen. There's Casey Hamilton, who's been very busy. She pitched yesterday, and then when the game resumed, she pitched today. She's the one who beat Texas earlier this season. And we're going to get a pinch runner at second base here for the Longhorns.
Your attention, please. Pinch running for Texas, number 11, Alyssa Washington.
So Washington, the pinch runner here for Texas. The 1-0 to Atwood. 2-0.
You can see Brooks really trying to work outside to these right-handed batters, specifically low in the zone. Just hasn't been able to consistently get that pitch called for a strike. And when you're missing there as a batter, you know that the pitcher is going to try to bring something up a bit more in the zone, and that's where we saw Courtney Day capitalize.
Line shots, foul.
And saw another good swing on a pitch up right there from Reese Atwood.
Atwood all freshman team selection, 11 home runs this season. Second most ever by a Longhorn freshman. Atwood good enough to also earn second team all conference honors. Having 3 straight walk-off hits will help you earn accolades.
That's definitely up there for the list of some of the incredible things I've seen.
This one is sent out to the right fielder. Renzi has it. 2 down.
Just coming up 3 games in a row with the game on the line is impressive enough, let alone coming through all 3 times.
Practice makes perfect, right? She was
Exactly
perfect right from the first one.
Number 3, Vanessa Quiroga.
Vanessa Quiroga, the sophomore first baseman, will step in, coming off a good game yesterday. A couple of hits, including a home run. Madison took you through it at the top of the show. Those 3 home runs late when Texas Tech was on top 6-2 in the 6th inning. 3 home runs tied it, and they eventually won it in the 8th inning. Inside for ball 1.
Coach Mike White told us that Vanessa Quiroga is somebody that's going to start to see a lot more time for them, has a ton of power in that lefty swing, and we saw an example of that with that solo shot in the 7th.
Lays off, it's 2-0. Texas 41 wins on the season, 11 coming in Big 12 play. In the most recent national poll, ESPN.com USA Softball ranked 7th. Fouled off on the 2-0. It's 2-1. Fouled off, it's 2-2. So when a player like that steps in and looks at the flags blowing out to left, eyes get a little wide.
All 3 of her home runs this season have gone out to either left field or center field.
Well, that's a Quiroga win right there.
That's what we're going to call it.
The 2-2 pitch. Count goes full, 3-2. Big jump this season for the sophomore from Corpus Christi. Last year appeared in 9 games, was 1 for 10 at the plate. Now delivering in the middle of the lineup for Texas. And battling against Brooks here in her first at-bat. Good and Scott scoring on the 2-run double by Day. Washington running for Day at second. Another 3-2 fly ball. Wind's going to help this get just out of reach of Haley Harper. And Haley,
there's laughs all around, so I think that's a good sign.
Goes for a tumble. Well, you know, Haley's filled up the highlight reel in the field, so why not take on the tarp
She
in
almost
foul ground?
got stuck back behind the tarp there. Ooh, got a good vertical on the jump. Almost cleared the tarp right there. Her teammates coming in to help her out.
I think she had the look of, can the cameras find this part? Like, could they see that? And the answer is yes.
Yes, we can find you anywhere.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming now to Quiroga. Turns that over foul. We'll do it again.
Everybody clap your hands. Clap your hands.
Kansas played clean defense against Oklahoma State and took advantage of 4 errors by the Cowgirls. Certainly helped Kansas to that 8-7 win earlier today.
Now 4 errors went down in the stat book, and I thought that there were a couple of other ground balls that should have been made, plays that needed to be made for Oklahoma State.
Called strike 3. Brooks wins the battle. Texas plates 2 happening around the country. Of course, tomorrow is the big busy day, championship Saturday. Across college softball, we will have wall-to-wall coverage here on the ESPN family of networks. Ashlyn Anderson set to lead things off. Oklahoma will be playing in the championship game here tomorrow. 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Sooner fans turned out in full force this afternoon to watch their team knock Iowa State out of the tournament 9-0 in 5 innings. 1-2 now to Anderson, who is 1 for 2 with a couple of walks and a run scored in game 1 for Kansas. Oklahoma staff out here scouting, checking things out. In on the hands, fought off, and it's a foul ball. So impressive. You look at what Iowa State did to Baylor. They had 16 hits, scored 8 runs. Ellie Spellhog threw a 2-hitter. Feeling great, a lot of momentum, and then your reward is taking on Oklahoma, who came out and scored 3 in the first, 4 in the second, added 2 more in the third. They put the pressure on right away. They keep it sparkling clean in the field. They started Alex Tarraco, then went to Kirsten Deal, and then Jordy Ball came on for the last 2 outs.
Well, that's what Oklahoma's going to do. They're going to make those adjustments in game. I guarantee they were watching every pitch that was thrown in that Iowa State game against Baylor.
Soft liner, gloved in the air by Martinez, it did appear, but she'll throw on the first just to be safe. But I'm going to put that in the books as an L6. As Martinez has it, 1 down.
Hit off the end of the bat. Looks like she caught that one in the air. I think that's the right call, Eric.
Those shortstops, though, they want to make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. So just in case there was any doubt, I'm going to just show you I can throw it out at first, too.
That's true.
You shortstops are nothing if not thorough.
If you've got time, you make sure you throw that ball across.
Savannah DeRoche steps in. Junior came on off the bench in game 1. Scored a run. Fouls that off, and it's 1-1. DeRoche, two-way player. She's made 11 appearances in the circle this season. Getting the start at the plate, in the lineup rather, today. Here's the 1-1. Line shot foul. It's 1-2. Kansas closed the regular season with that win over Iowa State. They followed it up with a win over Oklahoma State for their first win in the Big 12 tournament in a long, long time. 1-1. There's a strike. It's one and, well, let's say that's strike three. I had the count at 1-1, but it's strike three. As our plate umpire, Dustin Douglas, let me and you know, 2 down.
Pumping the gas on this drop ball inside. DeRoche had her toes practically on that chalk line, challenging her on the inner half. Love this location, gets her foot down early, but just doesn't pull the trigger on that inside pitch.
Here's Peyton Renzi, who takes strike one. Big picture story for Kansas is they need to win this tournament to make it to the NCAA tournament. Game below 500 entering this game here today. 0-2 now to Renzi, who was 0 for 3 in game one. Morgan's 0-2 delivery. Off speed, framed by Atwood, called a ball. It's 1-2.
I think she's been a lot more efficient in this inning with her pitches, making sure that the drop balls are staying on the outer half of the zone. If she does miss, it's even further out or down. Tough pitches to make good contact on when they're moving down and away from your barrel.
This one slapped out to right field, hit well. It will get down. Slowed down by Maloney in right, but digging hard for second. And in safely with a 2-out double is Peyton Renzi.
Good adjustment by Renzi on this 1-2 pitch. Look at the location of where this drop ball is, not height-wise, but where it is over the plate. Leaks out of her hand, goes back towards the inside part of the plate. Good job by Renzi getting her hands inside of that ball, driving it out to the right center gap for a 2-out double.
Shayna Espy rolls the first pitch down to first. Quiroga steps on the bag.
Beat Arkansas at home after losing game one. Came back and won back-to-back ball games and just battled their way into that championship series. An incredible turnaround. And if anybody in the country knows how to get it going at the right time, it's the Texas Longhorns.
And always a good reminder, you don't have to be seeded to go on a run. An unseeded team making it to the Champ Series. Pretty impressive. 6th trip to the Women's College World Series. They've won 4 Big 12 tournament titles, but you have to go back to 2005 since their last title. Leadoff single to right field off the bat. Viviana Martinez gets the Longhorns going here in the second.
So many young players, too, have produced so well for the Longhorns this year. Viviana Martinez being one of those freshmen. Not just producing up at the plate, but also playing a pretty good shortstop. And here's a look at a couple of the different freshmen on this Longhorn squad. Reese Atwood, and we talked about her back-to-back-to-back walk-offs that she's had this year. Leanne Good, 65 hits. Second on the team, Citlali Gutierrez, who has been fantastic in the circle for them. Ashton Maloney, that 385 batting average. And, of course, Viviana Martinez, who we just saw.
Foul ball for Maloney for strike one. So the all-freshman team in the Big 12 has 10 selections. Texas had 50%.
It's great math.
Well,
that's why we keep you around right there for math like that. But
and we solve the hard problems.
To your point, pretty much the entire all Big 12 freshman team was majority of the starting lineup for the Texas Longhorns.
Popped up on the infield. Anderson in foul ground for out number one. Maloney is retired, and he'll bring up Alyssa Popelka. Popelka 1 for 4 with a run scored already in the tournament. 385 on the season, in the regular season. Bunted foul for strike one. Bunted foul. Popelka beating it out, but she'll come back and do it again. With the count now 0-2.
Looks like a ribbon might have just fallen out of her hair. That's when you know your teammates got your back, passing it all the way to the dugout, keeping it safe. Popelka had a nice hit back in the 4th inning of that Texas Tech game. Does a nice job of flipping the lineup over in that 9 spot for the Longhorns.
Snap throw to first, and back safely is Martinez. Two in the first for Texas. They bat here in the second with that 2-0 lead. Slapped. Good play, but not in time. Harper got it on the first as quick as she could, but Popelka a little bit quicker down the line. 2 on for Texas with 1 down in the second.
So fast down the first baseline. She gets a good hop here. Look at how long that ball hangs up in the air. Harper makes a nice play on it, actually throws over her teammate, Ashlyn Anderson, who was trying to come across to make a play on that ground ball as well. And Popelka just beats out that throw in time. Infield base hit for the 9 spot.
Back to the top of the order, and here's Leanne Good, who walked and scored in the first. Throwing back to second. Good throw by Lyric Moore, and gets Martinez. 2 down.
Martinez hung way off of second base. For a second, I thought she might look to delay steal and take off on the throw down to second. She looked briefly over at Coach Mike White while Lyric Moore had the ball, and a great throw from back behind the plate right on the money, and applies that tag for the second out.
Fly ball hit the deep left field, way back and gone. Good bounce back by Texas, 2-run shot. And the Longhorns are on top 4-0.
Just as we were talking about these phenomenal freshmen for the Longhorns, of course, a freshman comes through with 2 outs. Leanne Good's 8th home run on the season, an inside pitch, gets all of it. Timed it up, you could hear it off the bat. That thing going a long way. Able to capitalize with a runner on board, and 2 runs for the Longhorns extends their lead. 4-0.
8th home run of the season for the freshman, now with 40 runs batted in. She's got 3 hits in the series.
Off-speed pitch, if she can keep that pitch low in the zone, I think it's a difference maker for her.
Ball 1 to Mia Scott. Scott reached on a bunt single and scored in the first. 2 for 5 in this tournament with a walk. Line shot foul. It's 1-1. Of course, Kansas head coach Jennifer McFalls, former assistant coach at Texas until 2018. 5th season now as the Kansas head coach. Wins over Baylor, over Texas, as we mentioned before, over Wichita State. Shockers are ranked 13th at the time. Good pitch, it's 1-2. And add to what Kansas has accomplished this year, add to the list the win over Oklahoma State today.
5 Big 12 wins this season, the most for them since 2016. You can tell that they're starting to make those adjustments in the Big 12. Getting better each and every year.
It's the way they won some of their games too, right? 5 walk-off wins this year, capped by the regular season finale where they got the walk-off. Today, of course, wasn't a walk-off. They're the visiting team, but you put 4 runs on the board in the 7th inning to come from behind to win. That's a pretty impressive accomplishment. Grounded to second. Kripe answers coming up Sunday. NCAA selection show coming up to set what's happening in the regionals.
You know me, the numbers are always swirling around between the RPI and how these teams have been ranked all season. I can't remember a last season where there's been such a difference between where these teams have been ranked RPI-wise versus ranking-wise. LSU, I think. In the polls, yes. I think that LSU is one of the teams that stands out to me after dropping, of course, that first game in the SEC tournament to Ole Miss. They were right up there, 6-7 in that RPI. Now ranked in the top 20, of course, but there were some people out there with the thought that maybe LSU had done enough to possibly get a top 8 seed spot with that RPI, but there's a lot of other factors that go into the selection committee's decisions on where to place people. RPI, one of them, strength of schedule, the eye test, how you're finishing at the end of the year, the entire body of work, as they like to say.
You are going through the entire list of things that are going through the committee's discussions. And you take a look at the resume for Texas. 7 wins against RPI, top 25 teams. There's a big question coming in here to this tournament. 4 NCAA tournament locks, of course. This is a line drive. Good read by the center fielder, Dayton, to come on to grab it as Harper is retired for the first out of the 3rd inning. Would there be 4 regional hosts from the Big 12? Would Baylor be a regional host? They're on that top 16 bubble, and then they get bounced by Iowa State here in this tournament. Would there be 3 super hosts? You just talked about Texas, Oklahoma State. Certainly Oklahoma will be the number 1 overall seed in the tournament.
I think we can all agree a unanimous number 1 there for Oklahoma. No question.
I mean, I know when I go out on a limb, I make sure that limb is 100 years old and very, very strong.
It's a bold take there.
Slapped too short. Martinez off the glove of the first baseman, and Limbaugh will just hold there at first base. She beats it out for an infield hit. Another hit for Kansas. That's their 4th so far.
Kind of a slow ground ball over to Martinez at shortstop. Has to throw this one on the run across her body. But the key with that is because you're throwing it in the opposite direction in which your body is moving, you almost have to overcompensate and aim for your first baseman's right shoulder to make sure that it doesn't flare out to the left side. And it does that and allows Limbaugh to reach base safely here with 1 away.
Lyric Moore sends a good shot out to right field, but back on it is Maloney. She tracks it down for the out, 2 down. So Harper with a solid hit to center that was gloved by Dayton. Limbaugh, a hard hit ball that goes for an infield hit. And then Moore put a decent charge into one, tracked down by Maloney. Second time through the lineup. Kansas making some good contact. Here is Bruno. She singled in the first. Her 8th hit in her last 19 at-bats. 1-0 from Morgan. This one is hit to right field. Maloney drifts back to put it away, and that will retire the side. Kansas strands a base runner. We move on to the bottom of the third. It's a 4-0 game. To pick up a trophy tomorrow, Kansas and Texas playing for the right to take on the #1 team in the country. Solid hit to right for extra bases. Bella Dayton delivers again here in OKC. A leadoff double here in the third.
I really like Bella Dayton's aggressiveness on the inner half of the plate. Hamilton trying to come with this curveball inside, and she turns on it, opens up her front side, drives it all the way out to right field, sliding in safely into second base. Not sure what that signal is. I feel like we've gotten to know these teams, and
you know, I looked up. You know, it wasn't like it wasn't quite the chef's kiss thing, you know, but it was just like.
It's a good one though. Yeah.
I don't know. We need to do some research on that one. Bailey Brandon steps in to bat here for Courtney Day. Courtney had an RBI double to open the scoring for Texas in the first. Hamilton misses. It's ball 2.
Brandon, the sophomore, 8 hits on the season. 2 of those have been home runs, so a lot of pop coming from the left side.
First year with Texas after transferring over from LSU, so making her postseason debut in the Big 12. Ball 4, and Brandon works a walk. 2 on to start the third inning here for the Longhorns.
The catcher, number 14, Reese Atwood.
Here's Reese Atwood, who flied out to right in the first. Off speed in there for strike 1.
Good looking off speed pitch too. Just still think that that's the pitch that's the difference maker. You can throw it early and often, even back to back. I feel like we don't see a lot of pitching staffs that like to go back to back with those off speed pitches, but I feel like it catches hitters off guard when you do that.
Atwood pops it up out of play, and the count's now 0-2. I can tell by the reaction somebody made a pretty good catch, and then the yes.
It was a nice catch.
Bow to everyone.
Oh, another nice catch too.
And then the assist. All right, let me get everything straight here. I can go turn this in for a souvenir.
Ooh, reaches up. You got to make sure you show the umpires the ball too.
Well, I mean, we did the big bow to all 4 corners of the stadium. That misses. It's 1-2. You trade in the softball for a souvenir. So I think that young man's just trying to see who's the one who caught the ball, tossed it down, and oh, hang on, someone's fussy.
There you go.
Someone's fussy.
She wants the T-shirt.
Oh, that's it. Pacifier came loose. I need it. I want it. I've got to have it. This I remember. This is the delicate moment. The eyes are getting a little wide. It's like, oh, please work, work, work. Let those eyes just settle. Now go to sleep. Sleepy. You're sleepy. Atwood, good job here. Got a lot on it. It's down all the way to the fence. Reached out and has an RBI double. It may be a two-run double. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's not in time. Atwood taking off to third on the throw. She's in there safely.
Good two-strike swing by Reese Atwood here, and it's a changeup that hangs up in the zone a bit too much. Right up on the plate, goes with it. You can see that pitch curving back into her barrel too. She sinks into that front side, keeps her hands high, and drives that thing out into the left center gap. And how about Bailey Brandon scoring all the way from first base, standing up into home plate too.
We talked about the approach at the plate there for Atwood. She got a lot on that. That traveled quite a bit after it looked like all her weight was transferred on her front foot, but she kept enough back to get enough on it. Yeah,
and when you're in a two-strike situation, you obviously have to be able to still be on time for the higher velocity pitches, but be able to adjust to the changeups, to the slow pitches, and she did exactly that, and it's by sinking into that front side. When you keep your hands up too, to your point, Eric, when you keep your hands back, you're still giving yourself a chance to adjust to that pitch, even if you are a bit fooled on the off-speed.
Here's Quiroga. Lou Gilbert running for Atwood. Quiroga had a long at-bat her first plate appearance, struck out looking against Brooks. Katie Brooks got the start, went 1 2/3. Casey Hamilton on in relief. Texas 6-0 in the third. Here's the 1-1. Quiroga sends it the other way, puts a lot into it, drifting into foul ground, and getting there is Limbaugh. Tagging up and scoring is Gilbert's. 3 runs in the inning for Texas, 7-0 Longhorns.
Another good swing by Quiroga. She does such a great job on pitches that are outside. Hits this one plenty deep to score another run for the Longhorns, especially as that ball is tailing further and further down into foul territory. Another run coming across.
Martinez takes strike 1. Yesterday, Texas fell behind Texas Tech 5-2 in the fourth. It was 6-2 heading to the bottom half of the 6th inning. So they are playing from behind for the most part yesterday, but they have been in front from the start here today. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, and now 3 in the third. The 1-1. Fly ball to right center. The right fielder moving over, and Renzi's got it for out number 2. So Martinez is retired, and they'll bring up Ashton Maloney.
You'd imagine, too, that Coach Mike White just loves to see the way that his offense has been able to produce, even when they're down in the ball game, showing a lot of fight. After last weekend getting swept by Baylor, we're only able to put up 4 runs in those 3 games. Ended up scoring those 7 runs to beat Texas Tech in Game 1 of this Big 12 tournament, and now have put up another 7 spots so far in this ball game.
Maloney offered for strike 1. To your point, Madison, everyone's had a hand in it so far. We're only in the 3rd inning. Maloney is the only one who has not reached base or driven in a run yet. This is her second at bat. Fouled out the third, her first time. Hamilton trying to keep it right here and hope her team can swing the bats against Mac Morgan and the Longhorn staff. 1-1. This one is to the center fielder. Espy drifts back and has it to retire the side. We will talk to the Texas head coach, Mike White, when we come back to Oklahoma City. Now with a 7-run lead as she works to Haley Kripe. This is for ball one.
He's talking about Mac Morgan starting to settle in the circle. And one thing I noticed, of course, she's a transfer coming over from Arizona State, but there is a bit of a different windup for Mac Morgan this season. You'll see how she puts the ball into her glove, moves to her side, and then goes up before she goes into the windup. Last season, she came apart, went back on both sides of her body with the ball on one side, the glove on the other. And Coach Mike White said that he went to this, that way she could generate a bit more productive power, be able to utilize her legs a bit more coming off of the rubber. And it's something that she's worked on throughout this season, is try to be more efficient with the way that she's moving through that windup.
I do believe you did talk to Mike this week in our pre-tournament call about his velocity. He could still bring it probably, right?
Oh, yes.
So
he throws some serious BP.
He knows how to coach up some velocity for his players. Morgan misses the mark. It's a leadoff walk to Kripe here to start the fourth.
And the consistency piece is what he liked out of it too, getting the same type of windup every single time, because once you have that routine and that rhythm out there in the circle, that's when you can start to make adjustments with some of your pitches. But it all comes back to that consistent feel in that repetitive movement in that windup, and for her it's just about getting that efficient push off of the rubber.
And he referenced to not having a long inning. It is hot. The sun comes out. That dials the heat up a little bit more. 86 degrees currently here in Oklahoma City. Ashlyn Anderson steps in for the Jayhawks and takes a strike. Kansas has gotten a base runner on in each of the first 4 innings. They had back-to-back singles with 2 outs in the first. They had a double from Renzi with 2 outs in the second. They got a 1-out single from Limbaugh in the third. Now a leadoff walk for Kripe in the fourth. On the hands to the right side, and this is going to be a base hit. So the first 2 are aboard for Kansas here in the 4th inning. Ashlyn Anderson has her second hit of the tournament.
Not a hard hit ball off of Anderson's bat, but it's just put in the perfect location. This pitch is actually inside, up on the hands, and you could tell that the infielders for Texas were almost anticipating that Anderson was going to pull this ball to the left side. So you saw Leanne Good pushed up the middle a bit, but because that one skips out into the 3-4 hole, it's a base hit and another runner on board for the Jayhawks.
DeRoche steps in and takes a ball. Morgan with 1 strikeout today. It was against Savannah in the 2nd inning. Morgan making her team-high 33rd appearance of the season. That misses. It's 2-0.
Ben over there.
2-0 pitch. Misses. Ball 3, 3-0. No, Morgan worked 3 innings yesterday, gave up the 5 hits, 3 runs, and a walk through 62 pitches. She's 50 pitches deep today. 30 strikes, 20 balls for Morgan. There's a strike in the snap throw to first. Anderson back safely. 3-1. 3-2.
Morgan fights her way back in this at bat against DeRoche. After falling behind, a couple of quick strikes, and now she's got this count back to full. And one thing you'll notice from a lot of these Jayhawk hitters too is how early they get their front foot down in their strides, especially with 2 strikes, trying to eliminate the timing portion of their swing.
Line drive, base hit. Runner being waved around. Here comes the throw, and the slide in there safely to throw to third, not in time. Second and third, and a run in for Kansas here in the 4th.
Great job by Savannah DeRoche to come through with runners on board. She gets her front foot down early with 2 strikes. It's a pitch up in the zone and takes her barrel straight to it, out to Bella Dayton in center field. Throw takes Reese Atwood up the line just a little. Looked like the throw still beat the runner, but the tag, just missed her as she was coming around to score.
That will be the last batter Mac Morgan faces as she will head out. And Citlali Gutierrez, the freshman from Stanford, Texas, will come on. Second appearance of the postseason for Gutierrez. Tell you about her when we come back. An inning and 2/3, gave up a hit, didn't give up a run, walked 1, struck out 1. Through 27 pitches, her first pitch in relief of Morgan is in there for strike 1 to Peyton Renzi. Renzi had a double against Morgan in the second inning. She steps in here in a big spot. First 3 aboard, 1 run in for Kansas here in the 4th. 1-1. Gutierrez, one of those 5 members of the all-freshman team in the Big 12 from Texas. Second team all-conference selection as well. Line shot foul. Part of a staff that has spread the innings around quite a bit this year in the regular season. Estelle Check, Morgan, Gutierrez, Sophia Simpson, all through at least 50 innings. Each made at least 20 appearances. Simpson pitched yesterday. She starts to get loose in the pen for the Longhorns. 1-2 to Renzi. 1 away.
It's a great look at the off-speed pitch, 61 miles per hour. And look at the direction that this pitch is moving. Coach Mike White called it. It's got good lift on it, about 7 inches of lift, but it also is moving away. So it's breaking up and away, which typically off-speed pitches are working their way more down in the zone. But to have that change in directions along with the drop in velocity makes that one such a difficult pitch to hit.
Ball 1 to Shayna Espy, who grounded to first her first time. Roche at second, Anderson at third with 1 down here in the 4th. 2-0. Morgan went 3 innings plus, gave up 6 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Of course, responsible for the 2 on base right now. Fouled back, and it's 2-1.
Game 3 in the series earlier in the year between these 2 teams came down to the rubber match on Sunday, and it was Citlali Gutierrez who got the start in that ball game, went 4 innings, only gave up 2 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts in that 3-2 win for Texas.
Two and 2. Espy's been good at the plate so far in the series. 3 for 4 yesterday and today in that suspended game that was finished this morning. A couple of runs and an RBI. Lays off, and it's 3 and 2. It's back-to-back strikeouts for Gutierrez, 2 away.
That's the way you set the tone when you enter a ball game. Back-to-back strikeouts, pumps the velocity in on this one. Almost looks like a screwball. Inside to Shayna Espy, 66 miles per hour for the strikeout. Up there.
Here's Harper, line to center, her last time. Gutierrez continues to throw strikes. Off speed, it's 0-2.
Such a good looking pitch. You can tell by just how far out in front Haley Harper was on that swing that she was not able to pick that one up out of the hand, and that's what you want, that consistency piece. Have your windup be the exact same whether you're throwing high velocity or pulling the string.
1-2.
Harper been on quite the streak the last 6 games, batting over 500 with a home run in there, 6 RBI.
Fly ball to shallow right coming on. Maloney, and heading out is good. They can't get there. Be a perfect time for Harper to extend her hitting streak to 7 games. The 1-2. Gutierrez had other ideas. What a job out of the pen by the freshman. Getting 3. First time for Popelka to face Hamilton here this afternoon. Popelka singled and scored back in the second. And there's a strike. Katie Brooks got the start. Hamilton came on with 2 down in the second inning. Popelka, Good, and Scott here for Texas in the 4th. Back to the pitcher. Hamilton gets rid of it quickly, has to, and gets it done for the out, 1 away.
Not an easy play for pitchers to make, especially when they're left-handed. When Popelka runs down first base as quickly as she does, these lefty pitchers have to turn around in a hurry, make a good throw over to first base. But Hamilton showing us how good defensively she is in the circle as well. A 2-hopper straight back to her, and look at the way that she turned her body when she fielded that one to put herself in a better position to make that throw over to first.
Back to the top of the order. And ball 1 to Leanne Good. Good's been on twice, scored twice. Walked and scored in the first, and a 2-run home run in the second. 3 hits in the tournament with 3 runs scored. Two and 0. Lined foul and out of play. Take you back to the second inning. The 2-run home run with 2 outs off the bat of Leanne Good.
Really good swing here. A pitch on the inside part of the plate. So quick with her hands. Dropping the barrel. Driving it out of the yard. We've seen the freshman do that several times this season.
Misses up, and it's 3-1. Hamilton went the distance in that win against Texas in the regular season. That one runs inside, and it's ball 4. And it's a one-out walk. Good is aboard for the 3rd time today. And the 5th time here in the tournament.
Talk about that win earlier in the year for Kansas. They have had some big wins this season. We talk about the improvements of their team this year, and I think a lot of it has to do with, of course, some of the performances by the veterans on this team, but also some freshmen stepping up in some big spots. Presley Limbaugh, Haley Kripe, saw her get the walk-off hit against Iowa State in their last regular season game. Lizzie Ludwig, a freshman, has thrown a good amount of innings for them as well. Bright future for a lot of these young players for these Jayhawks.
And for those wrapping up their Kansas careers, great memory to put 4 on the board in the 7th and take down Oklahoma State here in Oklahoma City. Hoping to create another good memory here, but it's going to require a big comeback. Down 6 here in the 4th. But they've come from behind once already today. Bunted by Scotts. And another good play by the pitcher. Moving on to second is good. 2 down. Hamilton showing us she can field her position pretty well.
You can see the trust that her defense has in her, too. The first baseman playing way back on this, knowing that Hamilton's going to have to cover the right side of the field on a bunt. Mia Scott runs very well down the base path. Gets a bit more on this bunt, and a good turn again, and a strike throw to get her out.
They'll bring up Bella Dayton. Doubled and scored in the 3rd, sacrificed in the 1st. Take strike 1. Texas has scored in each of the first 3 innings. That one spins wide for ball 1. Good and Scott scored in the 1st. Popelka and Good in the 2nd. Dayton, Brandon, and Atwood in the 3rd. They have spread the wealth here today. The 1-1. Popped up, shortstop. Harper under it, and she's got it to retire the side. 4 innings complete here in Oklahoma City. Limbaugh, Moore, and Bruno for Kansas. Slapped into foul territory, long run, but unable to get there as Popelka, strike 1. Kansas trying to mount their 2nd comeback of the day. They started the morning resuming the suspended game against Oklahoma State from yesterday because of weather. 10 a.m. local time. They were up 3-1, then fell behind, but they were not out. Scored 4 runs in the 7th inning to come from behind and pick up an 8-7 victory over Oklahoma State.
It was Presley Limbaugh, I believe, that was up to bat, too. A 2-1 count that had to get resumed the following morning.
I mean, it's been a long day for the Kansas fans. A good day with the win. Presley Limbaugh did restart play when the weather moved in yesterday when there was a pitching change for Oklahoma State. It was a 2-1 count. She ended up walking, but then Kyra Aycock worked out of the jam for Oklahoma State. Kansas picked up a run in the 6th. That's out of play. And then the 4 runs in the 7th. Oklahoma State had a threat in the 7th. They got a run across with Edwards on the RBI triple by Taylor Tuck. Then a flyout ended the game with the tying run at third, and Kansas had a victory in this tournament for the first time since 2007. That misses for ball 2. Limbaugh's 1 for 2 in this game, 2 for 6 overall in the championship. The 2-2. Count goes full, 3-2.
Seen that happen a couple of times with Reese Atwood back behind the plate. It almost looks like the ball drops a bit more than she's expecting it to, and it hits off of her shin guards back there.
It's interesting. When we talked to Jennifer McFall, she said her hitters need to adjust to the new pitcher. I think sometimes a catcher needs to adjust from Morgan to Gutierrez in this case for Atwood. Line shot, gloved by Good on the first, 1 away.
Really nice backhand play by Leanne Good at second base. Hard hit ball off the bat of Presley Limbaugh, 3-2 count. Drives this one, tries to drive it up the middle. A one hopper. Leanne Good taking a couple of steps, able to turn around and fire to get the first out. But it is an interesting point you bring up, Eric, because I think oftentimes we talk about the coaches having to manage the different pitchers and the large pitching staffs that they have, and oftentimes we forget about the people that are back there behind the plate having to catch all of those different pitchers.
Lyric Moore sends a fly ball to right. Maloney makes another long run. She's getting her steps in today, and she knows it. Doesn't have much to show for it, though. It's just been out of her reach. Maybe is Leanne Good giving her the business? Like, why don't you dive for that? I don't care if it's a 10-yard dive.
Got to have fun out there. Give your teammates a hard time.
The 0-1 to Moore misses. Well, you know, you think, too, for Texas, we talked about how they spread the appearances and the innings out, and then you've got a freshman catcher primarily back there, learning life in the Big 12 and adjusting to everything as the Kansas catcher is at the plate right now. Moore with the ground ball to Scott at third, 2 down. And maybe Gutierrez has a little different spin than she did yesterday. Maybe a little bit different drop or rise than she did compared to yesterday. So it's never the same probably on back-to-back outings for these pitchers as well.
But especially when they're working on new pitches halfway through the season too. We talked with Coach Mike White about how they're working the off-speed drop. So not only is it moving in a different direction than some of her other pitches, but it's also a drop down in velocity. And as she's learning it, maybe she's learning how to control that pitch a bit more too.
Soft liner, gloved there by Good. She puts it away, and Gutierrez has retired all 6 Jayhawks.
Now batting, number 27, Bailey Brandon.
What would a May postseason tournament, as Jordan Richards takes over for Moore behind the plate, be without time changes and being flexible and being patient, as we've seen it here in this tournament? They moved up the start time of game number 1 by a couple hours to 10 a.m. That was the Baylor-Iowa State game, so that meant Mike White's team was kind of hanging in limbo for game number 2. And then Oklahoma State and Kansas could not finish because of the weather last night, so that game resumed at 10 a.m. local today. Now we're looking at a noon Central start time tomorrow here in Oklahoma City.
Delays just come with the territory and playing the sport, so all of these players very much used to having to deal with some of that weather. Extra inning ball games too, we've seen that in this Big 12 tournament.
Grounded foul by Bailey Brandon. I've heard of the 7th inning stretch, the 5th inning stretch. How about 5th inning snack time in the Texas dugout? Well, it's 5:48 local, so we're sharing snacks. Now, I am not one to judge. Trust me. because I am the biggest barbecue chip fan on this good earth, but something tells me that would not be from my approved dietitian plan.
I don't think those are barbecue either. I think those are spicy.
Line shot to left field, drifting back to the track, to the wall, and over the fence. Home run, Bailey Brandon for Texas.
Bailey Brandon entered this ball game in the third inning, ended up scoring all the way from first base, and we told you that she has the pop coming from the left side. It's a great swing on a pitch low in the zone, a line drive over the left field fence. Not an even easy pitch to hit out of the yard, but needs to keep it low in the zone here.
Especially against this player. If there's a walk-off opportunity, she's been known to make the most of it. It's Reese Atwood.
I think Reese might need to just change her middle name to Walk-Off. Reese Walk-Off Atwood.
Ludwig keeping it down. It's 2-0. Atwood doubled in 2 runs and scored in the third. Flied out to right in the first. 1 for 2, 2 for 6 in the tournament. Three and 0. The winner of this game will take on Oklahoma in a time change, noon Central Time, 1 Eastern Time tomorrow. Line shot, base hit by Atwood in the left field. She's got her second hit of the game, third hit of the championship. She's aboard with nobody out here in the fifth.
I like the aggressiveness, too, on a 3-0 count. Knows that Ludwig's going to bring something into the zone. Leaves a drop ball up, and she turns on this thing out to left field for a base hit. Trying to extend this inning here for the Longhorns.
They'll bring up Vanessa Quiroga, who's 0 for 1. Struck out in the first against Brooks. Brought in a run with a sacrifice fly in the third against Hamilton. Now facing Ludwig. Two and 0. Jordan Richards will head out to chat with the freshman. Here, Jen McFalls gives some praise to Richards, one of the seniors for this Kansas team. Two and 0, the count to Quiroga. Fly ball, shallow left field, coming on and dropping in safely in foul ground as Limbaugh was coming on for strike 1.
Every pitch that Ludwig has thrown in this at-bat to Quiroga have all been on the outside part of the plate, and we know that that's Quiroga's power alley. All 3 of her home runs this season have gone out to either left field or to center field, but Ludwig is still staying on that outside part of the zone.
3 and 1. Ball 4, and the winning run is now at second.
Have to attack the strike zone. Give your defense a chance to make a play. With that ball working down in the zone, you know she likes to get the ground ball outs. But when you're missing well out of the zone, you don't even give your defense a chance to try to get you out of this inning.
Here's Martinez. This is for ball 1. Martinez singled to right in the second, flied out to right in the third. The 1-0. 1-1. Longhorns jumped out in the first inning. 2-run double by Courtney Day. They got 2 in the second. 2-run home run off the bat of Leanne Good. 2-run double by Atwood. Big hit later in the game. Ground ball to second. It's dropped and the bases are loaded. Nobody out. Kripe couldn't field it. Looks like she was trying to move quickly to get it to second base and moved a little too quickly.
Thought she had an opportunity on that ground ball to try to turn 2, and Ludwig does exactly her job. She induces a ground ball. Haley Kripe's in the right position to make a play on this one, gets her feet in front of her, and I think you're exactly right, Eric. It looked like she turned her feet to try to throw that ball over to Haley Harper before she had that ball securely in her glove. So now the base is loaded for the Longhorns with nobody away.
And here's Ashton Maloney, 0 for 2 today. Blocked by Richards at the plate. Ball 1. That is the first error for Kansas. They didn't commit an error in the win against Oklahoma State. Now the infield, of course, pinching in to make the play at the plate.
Infield
with the game on the line.
And outfield,
yes,
too.
Good call. Line shot off the glove of the second baseman. It will roll harmlessly away, and Texas picks up the win. It's a walk-off win in 5 for Texas. As Kripe had it in the glove, but it popped out. Maloney joins the party. Everyone in the lineup contributed either a hit or a run or an RBI.
Whenever I look into your eyes, I find less peace and love for me. You are everything that I have ever wanted. I want to spend every every second of my life with you. I don't know, it's some kind of a magical effect with you. So the joy effect that I have turned us away. So did the effect on your smile on me in my life. Baby, you are and will remain mine forever and ever. Whenever I look into your eyes, I find less peace and love for me. You are everything that I have ever wanted. I want to spend every second of my life with you. I don't know, it's some kind of a magical effect with you. So the joy effect that I have turned us away. So did the effect on your smile on me in my life. Baby, you are and will remain mine forever and ever. I don't know, it's some kind of a magical effect with you. So the joy effect that I have turned us away. So did the effect on your smile on me in my life. Baby, you